my YouTube channel. My name is Claudia. I'm a scoliosis health and fitness specialist, and today I'm going to be taking you through a gym workout that I do on a regular basis to help me stay strong, stay fit, stay healthy, toned, but also to look after my scoliosis so I don't progress it, so I don't have any pain. Yes, I have a severe kind of scoliosis, right thoracic, left lumbar, and I do not have any pain, and I owe it all to exercise and of course being healthy, getting sleep, all of those things as well. Come with me and let's go through my workout. We start our workout. It's so important that we are warming up properly, and no, walking to the gym does not count as your warm-up. I start with a foam roll, especially for the thoracic spine, my quads, and a little bit of serratus underneath the armpit, and that is to improve my mobility, improve my blood flow, and just generally start to wake up the muscles. I'm taking these movements really slow and making sure I'm not collapsing into my scoliosis. This can literally take 2 or 3 minutes. You have got time. If you've been following me for a while, you'll know how much I love my myofascial release using a firm ball. Here, I'm getting into my glute medius, which is what this little dance is all about. Then, of course, my concave areas. We need to be waking up those areas, connecting our brain to that part of our body because they tend to be very numb and very inactive. And when we're exercising, we want to wake those babies up. We want to get them active, and this is a great way to help with that. Once I finish with a couple of minutes of my rolling, then it's time to come on to a couple of minutes of dynamic warm-up. You don't need to spend ages doing this, but it's so important to prevent injury and to get your entire body prepared for activity. So important when you have scoliosis, even when you don't have scoliosis. We need to be including dynamic warm-ups into our routines. Once fully warmed up and mobilized, I like to come into a little bit of a scoliosis corrective workout. And this can just be a workout all on its own. You don't have to come to the gym for this kind of stuff. But I like to start my weighted workouts with a scoliosis correction routine, obviously specific for my curve type. This ensures that I have elongated and derotated my scoliosis as much as possible before I start adding resistance and adding weight. It fully ensures that I've warmed up my core and my glutes. This is so important for all of us with a scoliosis, but especially if you have a fusion. Really pay attention to warming up your core before, because having a fusion can make it difficult to find that core engagement. And that is because your fusion likes to act as your core, obviously stabilizing your spine, which is the core's job. So when the core sees that there's something else stabilizing your spine, it can tend to be a little bit sleepy and inactive. So please, all of us need to be doing this, but especially if you have a fusion. And you might notice with your scoliosis that you have one bum cheek or glute that is a little bit more sleepy than the other. This is very common, and that is another reason it's so important to actively warm up your glutes before, and especially if you have a sleepy one, give that one a little bit of extra attention so that when it comes to doing your weights, doing your resistance, that sleepy glute is activated and your dominant glute isn't doing all of the work, because that's only going to further feed into our dysfunction. So if you didn't know already, I'm actually a personal trainer and a yoga teacher. I've been working in the personal training fitness industry for over 7 years, but I decided to specialize more in scoliosis around 2 years ago after noticing the lack of help and information when it comes to fitness and scoliosis and fusion. Through my experience of being a personal trainer and one with a severe scoliosis curve, I have learned a lot about the kind of exercises that are beneficial and helpful for your body and for your curve, and the kind of exercises that are maybe not so good. My personal style of training is a lot more functional, focusing on being able to move well within the body, compared to a more bodybuilder style of training, which is just focusing on building the biggest muscles that you can, but not really focusing on the functionality of how the body is supposed to move together as one unit. So I use a lot of kettlebells and dumbbells for my training. I avoid machines. Machines are for two people: beginners that don't know what they're doing in the gym, and bodybuilders that want to target one specific muscle. I recommend if you're in the gym and you have a little bit of experience to venture away from the machines and to focus on more functional compound movements. You're gonna get a lot more bang for your buck. You're gonna learn how to move more functionally, and you can hold your scoliosis corrections better. You're just working a lot more muscles as well. So honestly, you're never gonna see me on a machine, and I'm not gonna tell you the best machines to use because I think get away from the machines. So let's get back into the workout. The first exercise of my tricep is a squat, which is a lower body push, knee dominant. This single arm kettlebell front rack is definitely more advanced, working my core like crazy. You can do a double kettlebell front rack, which is also going to work your core like crazy. And of course, your quads, which is what this exercise is predominantly working. Beginners, I recommend using a goblet squat like I'm doing here. Focus on your scoliosis corrections. You absolutely do not need a barbell to get results. This stuff can burn, and it's going to be a little bit kinder on your spine. From squats, I go straight into a TRX row. This horizontal pull is working back muscles, arms, and core. The further you walk, the harder it's going to be. The higher you are, the easier it's going to be. You're imagining you're in a plank when you're in this position. So you're not letting your tailbone sink down to the ground like I'm doing here. And please don't lift, extend, and pull your elbows back like that. Not good for your shoulders or your scoliosis. I finished this tricep with a suitcase walk, holding my scoliosis corrections. This is a core exercise. Beginners, I recommend starting with a suitcase hold, making sure you can hold your scoliosis corrections before you begin trying to walk. It's a lot harder than it looks. You really want to keep the movement slow and controlled. I also recommend a farmer's hold or a farmer's walk. This is another great way to strengthen your core under resistance whilst holding your scoliosis corrections. So much better for our curves compared to something like crunches, Russian twists, sit-ups. This is how we want to build abs. Once I finish 3 sets of those, and within those sets I do 12 squats, 12 rows, and 40 seconds suitcase walk. I come to some traction, and this is about the only time you'll ever see me underneath a barbell. Elongation is one of the best things that we can do for our scoliosis on a repetitive basis. This is going to help decompress your spine, especially after doing exercise where there is resistance. You want to make sure you aren't flaring your ribs or rounding into your lower back, keeping a neutral spine. You can start to add some shoulder shrugs as well to turn it into a little bit of a strengthening exercise. Scoliosis in the gym doesn't have to be as complicated as it sounds. When I'm working out, I love to combine scoliosis corrective exercises with like workouts, like you'll see with the farmer's hold. Do your corrections and then perform the exercise. So not only are you helping your scoliosis, but you're getting more toned, you're losing weight, you're doing all the other really beneficial things that happen when you exercise. One of the best things you can do is learn your curve and learn how to hold your scoliosis correction specific for your curve type. Then when you're doing exercise in the gym or a Pilates class or a yoga class, you can start to adjust those exercises to better suit your curve. And this is how I have no pain and I move well and I'm stopping the progression of my curve and just living life with my curvy, twisty spine. My next set, I start with a deadlift, which is a lower body pull focusing on glutes, hamstrings, and core. This is not going to be everyone's cup of tea with scoliosis. And you absolutely have to make sure that you know how to do a hip hinge, which is what I'm doing here. Practice this with your scoliosis corrections 100 times before you even think about picking up a weight. I love using kettlebells for a deadlift. Again, you don't need to use a barbell to get results unless you want to be a bodybuilder, power lifter, Olympic lifter. To make this a little easier, you could also put the kettlebell onto a yoga block, and that just means that you don't have to hinge so far down to pick it up. Following my deadlift, yes, I'm that girl who sometimes brings props to the gym. I'm going to come into a chest press, and I love lying down on the floor for this. And if you can prop your convexities, then oof, amazing. You've made it even into more of a scoliosis corrective. Toning your arms at the same time. Last exercise of the set is a Pallof press. This is an anti-rotational core exercise where the cable is going to want to pull you into rotation, so you have to use your core to stop that from happening. This is a great opportunity for you to practice your scoliosis corrections whilst under resistance. So this is going to strengthen your abs at the same time as you strengthening your curve in a better aligned position. I do 12 reps on a challenging weight, but one that doesn't sacrifice my form, before turning around and doing exactly the same thing. We always got to do both sides. When it comes comes to how I split my workouts, I go to the gym 2 or 3 times a week, and I will split my training into full body functional workouts every time I'm at the gym. I don't split it into legs, shoulders, back. Again, that's a very bodybuilder style of training. So there are really 7 major movements when it comes to the gym that you want to focus on. Vertical press, shoulder press. Vertical pull, horizontal push, push-up, chest press, horizontal pull when you pull cable. Hip hinge movements, so your deadlifts, your hip thrusts, your glute bridges. Knee dominant movements like your squats and your lunges, and then rotational and anti-rotational movements. So twisting through your core, or when you have scoliosis, you want to focus more on anti-rotational movements like your Pallof press. If you're hitting all of those 7 fundamental movements, you're doing a great job. I finished my workout with a little bit of cardio, choosing death by sprints. I like to do roughly 20 seconds on, taking a short 20-second rest, repeating 20 seconds on, sprinting as fast as I can, and repeating 5 times. Sprints are definitely not going to be for everyone. I would recommend, if you're a beginner, something more low impact, but I also like the Step Master. That's another one of my favorites that I'll go to when I need to get a sweat on, and that is more low impact. At the end of every workout, I will finish with some elongation. This is just another example of what you can do to find length for your spine in the gym. This is a dead hang, which is actually not my favorite for scoliosis because it's hard to keep a neutral spine, but sometimes this is the only piece of equipment you can find, so you gotta do what you gotta do. But after your workout, it's so important to decompress your spine, get some big deep breaths, and hold for at least 5 of those breaths. Please finish your workout with a cool down. It doesn't have to be anything special or exotic, but give your hamstrings, your quads, your glutes, your spine a stretch before you go home, because it's really going to help stop you feeling so tight and stiff the next day. I hope you enjoyed this video and learned something. Do comment down below if you have any questions. And a reminder that I do have my scoliosis membership that has lots of exercises. It even has a 12-week workout guide plus corrective exercises, lots of education for you to help you understand your curve more. I also work privately with clients, so if you want a program specifically for you and your curve, then shoot me an email, go to my website, thescoliocoach.com, and let's chat. I'm here to help you. I really want you to move well. I want you to be able to live comfortably in your scoliosis or your fusion and not be in so much pain, not worry about it progressing. So if anyone gets it, I do. Please give this video a like, a thumbs up, just to help my channel, to help other people with scoliosis, and I appreciate your time. I will see you in the next video.